Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Locker Room Chat, the Thanksgiving edition. My name is John Williams, and I'm joined once again by Matt Hagan. And joining us here tonight is Cherokee Middle School Defensive Coordinator David Brown. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. David's
the defensive coordinator for the Cherokee Middle Yellow Jackets in Roane County, and the head coach, T.J. Sieber. We'd like to congratulate him. He could not be here tonight, but him and his wife had a baby girl yesterday, so that's great news.
Yes, it is. 6 pounds, 3 ounces.
So that's a Thanksgiving blessing, and as I mentioned, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, so it's always good to be thankful, not only on Thanksgiving, but each and every day. So but once again, thanks, David, for being here, and Matt, as you as well.
Thank you, John.
Chase Clem, normally here with us. I think his wife's got him home smoking a turkey. So maybe Chase will be back with us next week. But right now, once again, on with the defensive coordinator of the Cherokee Middle School football team, David Brown. David, if you would, just talk a little bit about yourself and your coaching career and how the season went this year for Cherokee.
Been coaching high school for about 5 years over at Kingston High School, and this was my first year at the middle school. I was asked to come and coach, had a coach resign. And, I was asked to come aboard. We had a pretty good season, bunch of kids, young, so we had to get them all to buy into what we was trying to do and how we wanted to do it. But it all worked out for us, so I was glad that happened.
Mm-hmm. So you're on Coach Pankey's staff at Kingston this year?
Yes, sir.
As well?
Coach secondary.
Uh-huh.
So we had a pretty good season there. We went 7-4, lost in the second round to Austin East, but our kids showed up, they played hard, and that's really all you can ask for against a team like AE.
Right, I know y'all had a good season there. Anytime you can win 7 ball games, that's pretty good. And I know you play in a tough region, Austin East and Alcoa.
Yeah, probably the toughest in the state in 3A.
Exactly. And so tell us a little bit about the season this year for the Cherokee Middle School. What was your record? And we talked a little bit before on the show, but just tell everybody out there about how your season went. And you said y'all won the championship.
Yeah, we went 8-1 on the year. Our only loss came to Webb Middle School. Outside of that, I mean, the boys played hard every game. They showed up. They worked hard, did whatever we really asked of them. They learned a lot, and it became a brotherhood with them guys.
Mm-hmm. Now, who did y'all play in the playoffs up to the championship?
We got the first round bye and played Horace Maynard in the championship up at Campbell High School. That was our second time seeing them. They was very well prepared for the second game, but our kids fought all game long, and we came out with an 8-0 victory.
Now, who did y'all play in the championship?
Horace Maynard.
Horace Maynard in the
Yes.
championship?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said you lost to Webb. Did they get knocked out?
Webb's not in our region or
Oh,
district in middle school.
Okay.
It was just a regular season game.
Just a regular season game, right. Okay. Well, I understand your son's on the team as well. I got to meet him for the show. We have with us David Brown Jr., Rylan Gettner, Riley Walker, Kane Ladd, and Barrett Branham. So, Coach, if you would, before we meet these young men, talk about each and every one of these young men.
David's my son, of course, but he still didn't get no special treatment. I mean, I was hard on him just like everybody else. Gettner was Rylan, I mean, very special kid, a lot of potential. Kane was the heart and soul on the defense, couldn't ask for a better middle linebacker. Branham and Riley, I mean, two outstanding kids. One played fullback, the other one played wing. Both of them played outside linebacker for me. Worked hard, and just, I mean, they showed up every day. Practice, games, hurt, not hurt. I mean, kids just showed up and played. Proud of them.
That's what you want, especially not giving any preferential treatment to.
No, he gets none of that. He knows it. They know it. I mean, I was harder on him because he had to ride home with me. So
He had to hear it all the way home, did he?
home, 2 practice, 2 games. So he had to hear it regardless.
Let's go ahead and meet these boys. We'll start out with Rylan Gettner. Rylan, if you would, just tell us your name, what position you played, and what's your favorite subject in middle school?
My name is Hagan Gettner. I played quarterback, and favorite subject in school, probably math.
My name's David Brown. I play corner, and my favorite subject is social studies.
My name's Riley Walker. I played fullback and outside linebacker, and my favorite subject in school is math.
My name's Kane Ladd, and I played middle linebacker, and my favorite subject is English.
My name's Barrett Brown, and I played wingback and outside linebacker, and my favorite subject in school is probably science.
All of y'all, most of y'all have a favorite different subject. That's good. If you would, just talk about the season this year and some of your favorite memories. Are all of y'all in 8th grade?
Yeah.
She'll be moving up to the high school next year. So if you could, Rylan, let's talk about favorite memories of playing for Cherokee Middle. Don't have to be this year. It could just be throughout your career in middle school.
Some of my favorite memories were, I went to the championship 3 times in a row. That's awesome. And beating Jacksboro twice in the championship, well, once in the championship. That was great. And, favorite memory was probably just winning 2 out of the 3 championships and getting to play with these guys. It's awesome. And just the whole experience of playing middle school football is amazing.
Yes, Rylan, did you say you're a quarterback? Did y'all throw the ball a lot this year, or mainly was it more balanced?
Running team rather than a passing team, so we did a lot more running than passing.
Okay. All right, David.
My favorite memory is going to championship and
Who was your big rival? Who's your big rival during the season at Cherokee?
probably Jacksboro.
Jacksboro. Do y'all play Rockwood and Harriman?
Yes, sir.
I know you'll be seeing them once you get up to high school. David, you mentioned you played cornerback. Did you have any interceptions this year? Any pick sixes?
Not this year.
Not this year. Had some in the past.
Yep.
Did you play any offense?
I play fullback, second string.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk to Riley.
My favorite memory is probably beating Maryville in the season opener. And this was my first year for Cherokee. I took a year off last year, but I was glad to be back out there with these guys. Yeah, so that was probably my favorite memory was beating Maryville.
Did you play Maryville this year?
Yeah, we played them at Maryville our first game of the season.
Well, that's a pretty good win. So you played in the backfield?
Yeah, fullback.
Fullback and also linebacker?
Yes, sir.
I thought that might have been what you played when I met you earlier.
Yep.
Sure, Coach Pankey's looking forward to having you up. Okay, let's talk to Kane.
My favorite memory was when we beat Jacksboro 50-7 something to 12, I think. And when Coach Brown let me call the plays against Oliver Springs.
What was that last one again now?
When Coach Brown let me call the plays against Oliver Springs.
Oh, he let you call the plays? What did you call?
A bunch of blitzes like he likes it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Dialed it up, huh?
Yeah,
Did you have any sacks this year?
a lot.
A lot? Okay. Barrett?
My favorite memory is probably going back-to-back and winning 2 back-to-back state championships. And
And you said you also play, you're in the backfield?
yes, sir.
You're more of a tailback type?
Yeah.
How many touchdowns did you score this year?
A lot.
A lot? What was your longest run? You must be pretty fast.
I think, I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look at that.
Uh-huh. What would your head coach, Coach Sieber, have anything you'd like to say to him? His
He's a
wife?
great head coach, and congratulations on having a baby.
Yeah, pass that around if you got any thing you'd like to say to Coach Sieber.
I love you, and congrats on the baby.
I'll miss you next year, and congrats on the baby.
Best coach I've ever had, and knows how to run a football team.
Thanks for scrimming at Con and Littlefield a lot. And congrats on the baby.
What was that, Kane? What'd you?
Screaming at our wide receiver for dropping
Oh.
a bunch of passes.
All right, David, Coach Sieber, how long has he been at Cherokee Middle? Did you say?
This is all of our first years at Cherokee Middle, but me and Coach Sieber been over at the high school for the past 3 years together.
Okay, so it's like a new staff this year.
Yeah, it was a brand new staff at the middle school. It was a changeover. A lot of the guys had other plans this year, so they couldn't come back and help coach.
And did Coach Sieber, did he coach any with the high school?
Yeah, he's the O-line coach at the high school, so he helps out with the offensive linemen, some defensive linemen.
So y'all are pretty busy having to juggle that.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, but I mean, when you enjoy what you do, you don't mind to go from one to the other.
Right. I live in Clinton. I know he's close to the Clinton program. He knows some of the Clinton coaches, and their head coach also was coached on the varsity as well. So we appreciate y'all. It takes a lot of time to do that, sacrifices.
It's a lot of sacrifices, but once again, when you love what you do, it's not a problem at all.
Right. All right, boys. I'd like to ask you before we get out of here, have any shout-outs you'd like to say to anybody out there? Wish anybody a happy Thanksgiving, or just anybody you'd like to say hello to?
No, not really. But shout out to my dad for letting me play the game of football. Really appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Shout out to all the fans that always showed up to home games and some of the away games. And thank my parents for always taking me everywhere, and my grandparents trying to make it to every game that they can.
Thank my parents for making me and letting me play football.
Shout out to my parents. Thank you for letting me play football. And I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving.
Y'all, you want to do any traveling tomorrow? Any of you traveling to see family, or going to stick around?
Yeah, I'm going to travel to Athens
Do any of y'all play any other sports at Cherokee?
Yes, I play basketball and I run track.
How's basketball going?
It's going pretty good. I think we're.
Hey, Barrett, play basketball? Uh-huh. Can you grab the rim? Can't? Okay, let's talk to Kane.
I played Cherokee baseball, and I played for a travel team called the Run County Warriors in football. And we just had a battle of Rocky Top, and we came in third, I think.
Where'd y'all play at your Rocky Top? Lenore City? Okay, Riley. How's the basketball season going?
Baseball.
Okay, David.
I just played Hagan and Warriors for my dad. I just played football for Cherokee.
Just played in the Rocky Top.
Yes, sir.
Now, does your dad, does he stay on you a little bit, or?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure he congratulates you as well, don't he?
Yes, sir.
Builds you up, and you like playing for your dad?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. That's good. That's great.
I just play football and basketball. That's kind of the season coming good.
Play basketball? Uh-huh. Now, can you grab the rim?
I'm getting there.
Getting there? Uh-huh. Okay, guys. Appreciate y'all being on the show tonight, and don't eat too much turkey, or do eat a lot of turkey and watch a lot of football, right? Okay. All right, David, we appreciate you coming in and filling in for Coach Sieber, and congratulations on the season this year, and look forward to keeping up with these young men at Kingston High School.
Thank you for having us.
Do you have any Thanksgiving things you're thankful for?
Thankful to be alive for another day. I mean, that's always a blessing in itself.
All right, Coach Brown, and thank you for being here once again. Also, your son and your players, and we'll be right back in a little bit. We welcome your calls at 865-483-8112. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Our reputation has been built on taking care of customers. We're Tennessee's only 8-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Customer Commitment Award. This year, we also earned the Love Promise Community Commitment Award given for enhancing the areas we serve. This means you can be sure you'll have an excellent experience when you visit our store and be proud you're dealing with a company that gives back to local causes. Read our online reviews, then come to Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Take I-40 to exit 347 in Harriman, or check all our specials at duffsubaru.com.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom.
On the diamond.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Really? Again? Hey, if I had automotive style suspension like the new Simplicity, plus a free floating mower deck for the best cut, I'd be all that too.
Well...
And if I had the expertise and advice of his Simplicity dealer, maybe he'd look forward to hanging out with me.
You don't have a Simplicity dealership.
Good point. Huh.
SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation, Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers, a member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Welcome back to the locker room chat, and that was a good segment there with the Cherokee Middle School out of Roane County. Congratulations on them winning the championship.
Yeah, I remember one thing I was telling you on the way up here is when I was calling it, for 3 years I called the games at Clinton Middle School on WYSH. We played Cherokee a couple of different times, and they were a hard program to beat then. And now knowing that they're region champions, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Right, some good group of young men we just met, and future for Kingston looks promising.
Yeah, Kingston already had a great season. We were talking off camera with the defensive coordinator, and I was at the Kingston-Austin East game in the playoffs. I left, it was 14-0, and by the time I made it to Central, which is only about a 7-mile drive, it was 21-14 Austin East. So Kingston had made a small comeback at that point, but they just couldn't hold it on in the second half. And Austin East was just a powerhouse this year as well.
Right, they gave AE a couple good games this year. Let's go ahead. You know, it's we're in the state semifinals. We're down to the final 24 teams competing for state championships, and let's go ahead and look back at last week's games. We'll start out with Oliver Springs. We'd like to congratulate them on a fine season. They ended up 10-3. Traveled to Greenback last week, and they was on the short end of a 35-0 score. It was 14-0 at halftime, so much closer game than their first meeting. But once again, Coach Green and the Bobcats had one of their best seasons they've had in a few years.
Yeah, after I've seen both these teams play over the last couple of years, it doesn't surprise me, and I bet Oliver Springs will be back next year. Yes, they had injuries to begin the season, and it kind of hampered the way that they played a little bit, but they've got so much talent coming back next year. That's going to be a tough match because Greenback is graduating a ton of players for next year as well.
Right, and Oliver Springs had 148 yards in that game against Greenback, 100 on the ground. They limited Oliver Springs standout running back Trey Bob. Also through the air, Blake Grace, the passing held him to, he was 15 of, 48 yards passing. So Greenback's a pretty good team. Just looking at some of the individual leaders for Oliver Springs in that game, Bailey Russell led with 10 total tackles, and he had 92 on the season to lead Oliver Springs. That's Bailey Russell. Also defensively, Jacob Jones, he had 3 sacks against Greenback, and he had 11 for the season.
Yeah, it's hard to get double-digit sacks in any level in football, and it just shows you that he was able to read that offensive line and get through those holes a little bit quicker than a lot of the other players were, and they couldn't get away from him.
he has the speed to get off the snaps, which helped a lot as well.
A couple other seniors, Trey Boswell, I know he missed some games this year. Running back, he had 975 yards of rushing and 14 touchdowns on the year. So quarterback senior Blake Crace, he had 961 total passing yards. He was 75 for 139 in the air. That's a pretty good percentage.
Yeah, right around 60%. You want to be in that area, and then with the running attack, it shows you they were about a 50-50 team. They evenly split their runs and their passing.
Right, and also Blake ended up with 15 passing touchdowns. Also offensively, Landon Gallion, I think he's an underclassman. He led in receiving with 298 yards receiving, while Bailey Russell had 234 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. Also, Landon White, running back, wide receiver, he's a senior. He did a little bit of everything. He had 9 total touchdowns. I believe he was in studio earlier with us. He had 4 touchdowns rushing and 4 passing. And also Gavin Hill, another young man for the Bobcats. I believe he returns next year, if I'm not mistaken. He had 8 total touchdowns. So Oliver Springs is losing a really good senior class.
Yeah, but they've got the talent below them. They've been following them for the last 3 years. They're able to see what Boswell and a few of the others could do, and they're learning, which is going to help them out for next year. They've had 3 years to build, and we'll see if they can come back and be just as big as they were this year.
Right, so congratulations to Oliver Springs once again for a fine season, finishing 10-3. Looking at some of the other games last week, it was Meigs County 49, Oneida 21, Alcoa 56, Austin East 28.
That was the most.
Right, it was switching over. It was Loudon 33, Red Bank 14. What was you going to say?
I was going to say with the Alcoa Austin East score, that's the most points Austin East has given up this season to a single team, and nearly doubled their total amount of points given up for the entire season. They gave up 33 points coming into the game. They gave up 28 points to Austin East.
Also, I mentioned Loudon over Red Bank. Loudon's 13-0, and they're traveling to Alcoa.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tough matchup for Loudon. It's going to be a little bit closer than people think, but I don't know if anyone's going to be able to stop that Tornado, just their attack right now. They can score anywhere. I've seen them score a 98-yard screen touchdown pass. They just have the speed to outrun almost anyone.
Mm-hmm. A shocker, I thought. Well, not really a shocker, but Elizabethton 24, Greenville 13. Elizabethton's undefeated, ranked number 1 in 4A. Greenville led in this game 13-0, just like they led in their first meeting. I think they were up 21-7. And Elizabethton came back this time. Well, both games were at home in Elizabethton, so they're advancing to the semifinals with the chance to play for the state championship for the first time.
Yeah, Elizabethton's just been a tough team all season for anybody to even put up a fight against, and Greenville was their only close matchups.
Right, that sort of surprised me. I know you picked Elizabethton, you and Chase. I picked Greenville, but
I just picked them based on what I've seen from the sister station where I work up in the Tri-Cities. We've seen several games with Elizabethton playing teams from this area, and they just have a passing attack that can rival most others. And it's not a deep passing attack, it's short crosses. And it's able to get them open, and they're able to once they get into open field, it's hard for anyone to chase them down.
Mm-hmm. It's good to see other schools have some success. We have Alcoa, seems like every year, Maryville, Greenville, 2-time state champ. Elizabethton getting there now. It's good to see other schools break through.
Yeah, this year there's a lot of different teams that you're not familiar with, and we'll talk about them when we go towards our picks. All 16 teams left in the Division One.
Another game, 2 games of the Battle of Knoxville, I called it. Central, defending state champion, defeated South Doyle 20-16. This is in Class 5A. Central was down 10 points in that game and rallied to win.
It's just like their first game against David Crockett this year. They were down 14-0 in the first quarter and rallied back to win by 2 scores late in the game off a punt return for a touchdown.
So the Bobcats are playing for a chance to go back to the Blue Cross Bowl once again. The other game, the game I got to go to, was West at Powell. West winning that one 31-14, and West avenged a 1-point loss to Powell late in the season. Powell came in undefeated. West came to play.
Did that surprise you at all, just seeing how tough that was? You knew that was going to be a battle from the very beginning. I don't think anyone had picked more than a 3-point win by either team. Everyone thought it was going to be close. It was the rivalry Thursday game. It was one of our big games this week.
Right, West, they started out quick. First play, they was on defense. A big hit caused an interception. And then the first play from offensively, Isaiah Mattress goes around left end, practically just untouched for about a 30-yard touchdown run, and West was up 7-0. They added another score pretty quick, 14-0. Powell made it 14-7 before West answered that score. Marion Wright, he had a long kickoff return for a touchdown, put West right back up 21-7, and they added a field goal before halftime, and that was a huge field goal to go up 24-7.
At that point, you didn't know if Matt Lowe, or if he was going to have the same type of comeback as he did against AC as against Oak Ridge this year. They had to make late game comebacks to win those two, and maybe their luck just ran out in the quarterfinals.
Right, Powell did cut it 24-14, but they could never get it to a 1 score. They had a couple opportunities to make it a 1 score game, but the West defensively held them out and scored a touchdown about midway through the 4th quarter to go up for the final score, 31-14. So that's going to be a great game in Fountain City Friday night, West at Central.
Yeah, it's going to be one that if anybody has an option of what games to go to, I would suggest going to that one first. The atmosphere at Central is one of the best with the stands on the visitor side. Stands are not on the home side, which a lot of people would expect, but they're always packed.
They're on one side, yeah.
All the stands are on one side, and it's on the visitor side, though. The home team is on the side that you cannot get on to that side of the field. There's no fans over there. They do it that way just for their own mindset. So you'll see all the cameras, if you're there for the TVs, they're all going to be on the visitor side for the most part. That's where the lights are. The home team just does not want to get distracted by the crowd yelling.
Right, a lot going on that sideline. And in 6A, once again, the Maryville Red Rebels rolling. They defeated Dobbins Bennett out of Kingsport 45-10. So Maryville 13-0. They're going to be hosting Oakland this week coming up. So that's another big game in the area.
The 3rd year in a row, I believe, that these two teams have played. I've seen Oakland play in person. If you ever want to go see a game up there, it's just 1 mile north of Middle Tennessee State. You can hear their games from campus with how loud it gets there. The Patriots, they took Maryville to the wire the last 2 seasons. This is going to be one of those games. Also, I don't know. I don't know which game I'd rather go to, Central West or Maryville Oakland.
So they defeated Maryville last year, right? Oakland.
And then I think it was the year before that Maryville defeated Oakland. So it's been back and forth. This will be that round 3 between them.
Right. Once again, we'll welcome your calls. 865-483-8112.
One thing I want to mention that I saw on Facebook today concerns Region 5-3A, Campbell County. I'm proud to say that Coach Price, Campbell County's head coach, his son Jack Price has been battling cancer all season, and today they announced that he is in 100% remission. The test results came back, he has 0.0% cancer. So all the schools in the area have had stickers, have had something that says pray for Jack on there, and it worked. Everybody's prayers worked.
Raising money and praying, and it's such a blessing there on Thanksgiving weekend. To hear that, that's just, it don't get no better than that.
Now you can go on Facebook right now and you can see not only people sharing the post, Clinton High School shared the post, West, Fulton, Powell, all of the schools in the area are sharing the good news.
Also, Carson Newman in the news. Matt, talk about a little bit about Carson Newman Eagles.
Carson Newman, actually, they're in the news for 2 different reasons. This past Saturday, they defeated number 11 ranked Bowie State out of Bowie, Maryland. They defeated them in the first round of the playoffs. First time these two teams have ever met. Tyler Thackerson has been the quarterback the last 3 games. The first 3 games he's ever started, they're 3-0. Bowie State was undefeated. And their quarterback was their leading rusher as well, so you knew that they had a planned rushing, passing attack. You had to try to contain him, and they were able to, and Tyler helped them run away with it. But the other big, actually this weekend, they go for the second time this year against the 6th-ranked Lenore-Ryan out of North Carolina. They lost to them earlier, but you don't know how this is going to be this game. This is going to be that revenge game. This is an in-conference rivalry game for them as well. If Carson Newman gets this win, there's a very good chance they go against the defending national champion, Valdosta State. But the other thing that Carson Newman's in the news for right now is their running back, Antonio Wimbush. He's been named one of the 32 finalists for the Division II version of the Heisman Trophy. He's the 3rd all-time leading rusher for them. He had 900 yards on the season, 10 touchdowns. And he's also being looked at by the NFL scouts right now. I know personally, when I was up there, I've seen Seattle up there, and a close friend of mine has seen Green Bay up there looking at him.
It's good to see Carson Newman, enjoying the success. I remember back in the 90s under Ken Sparks, it seemed like every year they were winning or competing for the national championship. Had a great run. Kenneth Tyson played there for Austin East. Just a lot of, the players there. Joe Fishback, name I remember. I'm sure there's been others that's gone on to the professional NFL, but
the punter for Chris Jones for the Dallas Cowboys is a Carson Newman Eagle as well, and he's known mainly for the big hit that he laid on someone running out of bounds during a punt return. Then when you were talking about Ken Sparks, this is the first year since Ken Sparks passed that Carson Newman's made the playoffs under the head coach Mike Turner. It's his 3rd year as head coach.
It's good to see Carson Newman back in it. I read a little bit about that game against Bowie State. They had some good defensive stands there to keep them out of the red zone. They were in the red zone threatening to score, and Carson Newman made some good stands and had some big plays offensively with Tyler Thackerson throwing out in the flat on a screen pass, took it the distance. Was that Wimbush that did that?
I believe so. I'm actually looking up an email from their sports information director that we get every single week to try to find out what those stats were for that specific game. But the award is the Harlan Hill Award. That's the Division II version of the Heisman that Antonio Wimbush is up for this year.
So Lenore-Ryan, that's a conference game?
It is a conference game. They lost to them earlier this year. I believe the score was 35-13. It was closer than it seemed, and the game was played at Lenore-Ryan. So they're going to play at Lenore-Ryan again on Saturday. Kickoff is at 2.
I know Tennessee's basketball coach, Rick Barnes, I think he graduated from Lenore-Ryan. He was at the Carson Newman game last year, I remember.
And there's been several big names coming back to those games. He may, if they're not playing, he might make that journey up to Lenoir-Rhyne just to watch them play again. And I don't know if he'd root for them or if he'd root for someone from Tennessee trying to make it to the quarterfinals.
He's probably busy. The Vols are in Florida with the Emerald Coast Classic. They have Florida State Friday night, and they play again Sunday against VCU or Purdue. So Coach Barnes will probably be tied up with the Big Orange down in Florida.
So here, earlier this year, they lost. It was 36-23. And I'm pulling up stats right now for Carson Newman. Let's see, individually wise, the best all-time. Antonio Wimbush. This was the earlier game against Lenoir-Rhyne. He had 87 yards rushing. Derek Evans was the quarterback. He's the senior quarterback that could be starting. Not exactly sure why he's not been starting the last 3 games, but Tyler didn't even play in that game earlier this year. And last year, he played against Tusculum on senior night. This year, and he got hurt. Had a bad injury, had to go through surgery on 3 different sections of his knee. He's come back from it, and on senior game this year, he had 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing and 1 passing. And Wimbush had a 45-yard run. He also had a 35-yard catch.
Yes, congratulations to Tyler Thagerson. I know he had that, as you mentioned, knee injury. Last year's come back from that and regained the starting job, or didn't regain it, but he was about to get it last year, I thought, but he has it now, and he's leading the Eagles. So congratulations to Tyler, former Dragon. And right now we're going to go ahead and take our second break. We'll welcome your calls if you'd like to call in, and we'll be back in just a little bit. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. Rome Metals, we treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 110,000 participants here in Tennessee who take part in high school sports.
At Earl Duff Subaru, our reputation has been built on taking care of customers. We're Tennessee's only 8-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Customer Commitment Award. This year, we also earned the Love Promise Community Commitment Award given for enhancing the areas we serve. This means you can be sure you'll have an excellent experience when you visit our store and be proud you're dealing with a company that gives back to local causes. Read our online reviews, then come to Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Take I-40 to exit 347 in Harriman, or check all our specials at duffsubaru.com.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. I'm John Williams. This is Matt Hagan joining me, and phone lines are open, 865-483-8112. And Matt, he's talking about the stats for Carson Newman.
Yeah, I was talking about Antonio Wimbush. He had 18 rushes for 143 yards. He also had 1 catch for 62, so he had 205 yards total offense. The surprising one for us, and you and I were talking about this, was Tyler Thackerson. 3 of 5, 137 yards and a touchdown. So 5 passes.
So they keep it on the ground, the Eagles.
Yeah, they rushed for 226 yards in this game, and like I said, Wimbush had 143. So that just shows you how just elusive he is. And Monday, they will whittle down to the finalists of that Harlan Hill Trophy. So I'll be able to tell you next week whether or not Wimbush makes it into that final round. It's all determined by the sports information directors.
Well, there's also a basketball time in East Tennessee, and the girls and boys started last week and carrying over into this Thanksgiving holiday with some games and tournaments, and I think they begin the district games next week. But have some scores here to announce for high school basketball for teams in our area. For the girls, last Thursday it was Monterey 52, Oakdale 49. The Oak Ridge Lady Wildcats are now 4-0. They won 62-42 over Hardin Valley Academy. Tellico Plains defeated Wartburg 51-43, and it was Sweetwater over Harriman 35-31. Also in the girls' action, this past Saturday, Northview Academy 64, Oliver Springs Lady Bobcats 21. But the Lady Bobcats bounced back to defeat Hancock County 69-34. In games played at Anderson County last Saturday, Greenback 47, Anderson County Lady Mavericks 43, and Lenore City 64, Anderson County 30. Sunbright was a winner over Mount Pisgah Christian 39-34. And the Lady Dragons traveled to William Blount to play a couple games. Lady Dragons gave William Blount a good game, losing 59-53. And the Lady Dragons also lost later on that day to Walker Valley out of Bradley County. Games played on Monday for the girls. It was Jefferson County 51, Oliver Springs 38 in the Reeder Chevrolet Thanksgiving Tournament. Harriman Lady Blue Devils 36, Scott 33. Midway was victorious 49-41. Congratulations to the Lady Green Wave. And in the Pigeon Forge Thanksgiving Classic, it was the Lady Wildcats of Oak Ridge 51, Pigeon Forge 43, and the Kingston Lady Yellow Jackets 54, Rockwood 14. Kingston now off to a 2-0 start. And girls' game played on Tuesday. It was Harriman 65, Loudon 37. Oak Ridge completed the sweep in the Pigeon Forge Thanksgiving Classic, defeating South Green 69-51. It was Sunbright over Sell Creek 57-41. Chattanooga School of the Arts and Sciences 46, Rockwood 33. Wartburg 67, Scott 38, and Tellico Plains 77, Oakdale 37. Also scores there on the screen. You have William Blount 61, Anderson County 21, Campbell County winning 54-53 over Cock County. So that's some other action. Looking on the boys' side, from games from last Thursday, we had Monterey 83, Oakdale 17. Monterey must be pretty good.
They must be in order to score 83 points. That's hard to see in high school basketball.
I know Oakdale's had some good teams here the last couple of years, and hopefully that's a typo. But it was also Union County 50, Sunbright 37. These are boys' scores. And Sunbright bounced back to beat Lehigh, Virginia 57-45. The Sunbright Tigers now 2-1. And the Oak Ridge boys are now 3-0. They defeated Hardin Valley 80-64. And Sweetwater topped Harriman 51-46. In boys games last Saturday, Hancock County 63, Oliver Springs 61, Anderson County 65, Lenore City 47. Also, Anderson County 61, Knoxville Ambassadors 45. These games are played at Anderson County. And Matt, you told me a score from today, Anderson County defeating Knox Ambassadors again, 56-50. So the Mavericks 6-1, off to a good start for Coach Wallace. The Dragons, as I mentioned, traveled to William Blount. They lost in overtime to William Blount 73-71. They also fell to Walker Valley 81-69. Dragons will be back in action Saturday against Maryville. No, excuse me, that's Friday against Maryville. 12 o'clock tip. And then Saturday, the Dragons are taking on Heritage. These games at Heritage, that's 10:30 start. Also, some other scores. It was Northview Academy 73, Oliver Springs 24. Hardin Valley defeated Kingston 60-45. Harriman had two games last Saturday. The Blue Devils lost to Fayetteville by 1, 58-57, bounced back to beat Richland 68-52. In boys action on Monday, it was Scott over Harriman 68-54. Midway, even their record at 1-1, they defeated Greenback 67-37. It was Anderson County 84, Oliver Springs 47 in the Bobcat Thanksgiving Classic. And the Oak Ridge Wildcats defeated Pigeon Forge 81-66 there in the Pigeon Forge Thanksgiving Classic. Also, another score here in Roane County, folks be interested in, Kingston over Rockwood, 60-36. And last night, it was Cumberland County giving Anderson County their first loss, 66-55. It was Oak Ridge over Brainerd out of Chattanooga, 58-45. Knoxville Ambassadors over Oliver Springs, 74-55. Sunbright over Sell Creek, 65-49. Chattanooga School of Arts and Sciences 60, Rockwood 31, Scott 88, Wartburg 59, and Loudon got past Harriman 61-57. And the score from today was Cumberland County 86, Oliver Springs 33. So that's some of the scores on the boys' side. Let's switch back over to football now, Matt, and talk about these semifinal games coming up.
So, first, you want to start making our picks on this one, or do you just?
Yeah, we go ahead and start making our picks, but we can talk about the games.
Yeah. I'll let you start talking about the first game. We'll start with Class 1A, which is South Pittsburgh at Greenback. You and I have both seen Greenback play before, because we know just from different highlight videos. I've been to their stadium many times. Greenback's tough. They've got the Mr. Tennessee finalist still on there as their quarterback. It's going to be a hard match for anyone to go to Loudoun County to see them play.
Or South Pittsburgh has a.
No, I thought Greenback still had their Mr. Finalist, but I may be thinking of wrong. I think I'm thinking Meigs County instead.
Yeah, Meigs County. But Greenback does have an excellent quarterback, Braden Carnes.
Out of Maryville.
Transfer from Maryville. Greenback's won 11 straight after starting the season 0-2 and playing South Pittsburgh. They're 12-0, ranked number 1 in Class A. That's going to be another really good game in the area right there. These teams have. This is the third semifinal meeting between South Pitt and Greenback in the last 4 years. So these teams are familiar with each other. I know Greenback. They went to the state finals last year, correct?
I believe they did last year. I'm thinking of two different games right now. I think they were the ones that went, and it was Meigs County who lost last year in the semifinals really late. So,
I can't remember if Greenback, they may have won the state last year.
I believe they did. They won the state in both football and baseball last year as well.
So in that game, that's at Greenback. I'm going to I don't know much about South Pitt. I know they beat Meigs County. This game's at Greenback. I'm going to go with Greenback at home.
I'll go with the Greenback, and then just think the winner of this team will play an undefeated team in the state championship, either 13-0 Lake County or 13-0 Huntington. So it's going to be a good matchup either way in the finals.
Also in AA, Truesdale County 11-1, traveling to Meigs County 12-1. Meigs County's won 6 in a row since that loss to South Pitt. Give me Meigs County. They've been advancing each year. I think this is the year they get to the championship.
I'm going to go opposite, so I'm going to go with Truesdale on this one, and then the winner will play either Peabody, who's 13-0, or Decatur County Riverside out of Memphis, who is 8-5.
Okay, in 3A, it's Loudon 13-0, traveling to Alcoa 12-1. The Tornadoes have won 9 straight since losing to Maryville. You know, it's Loudon's first trip, or their last trip to the state was in 1975. And an interesting tidbit here, did you know that when TSSAA started their the playoffs in 1969, there's 3 teams currently playing that played in that 69. It was a 4-team playoff. They had 3 classes, they had 4 teams in each class. But Loudon and South Pittsburgh in 1969 both won state championships. South Pitt in Class A, Loudon AA. I think Lake County was the other team that's still alive, but I don't think they won the state that year. But anyway, that's pretty neat. And Loudon trying to get back to the state finals for the first time since 1975. It's going to be tough against Alcoa. I'll take the Tornadoes.
I can't go against Alcoa on this one. I know Loudon's going to put up some points on them, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Right, Alcoa has 5 straight playoff wins against Loudon. And the last win and the only win in the playoffs for Loudon was in 1999. They defeated Alcoa 21-10 in the second round. So it's been 20 years since the Redskins defeated the Tornadoes, but they have a good shot tomorrow night, maybe, who knows.
We'll see, and then the winner of that game will play either 11-2 Covington or 13-0 Pearl Cone. Moving
to 4A, 2 teams that's never been to the state championship. Nolensville 11-2, traveling to Elizabethton 13-0. I do not know much about Nolensville. I know they beat DeKalb County last week 42-6, but give me the Cyclones to advance to the state finals.
I'll agree with you on Elizabethton, and the winner will play either Haywood 12-1 or Springfield 10-3.
In 5A, it's West traveling to Central. This is the 3rd playoff meeting between these schools. It's going to be a really good game. I'm going to go with West. I was really impressed with them last week at Powell. I'm going to go in. You know, Central's defending 5A champs, but I'm going to take West.
I'm going to stick with Coach Rosser in Central, and the winner will play either Dyer County 11-2 or Summit, who's 11-2. Summit actually knocking out Henry County, who played Central last year in the state championship.
Right, 5A's been shooken up a lot. You know, you had Beach. They were number 1. They lost a couple of weeks ago, and Henry County, as you mentioned, going down last week. So doors wide open for the winner of this game between West and Central. And in 6A, Oakland will travel to Maryville. Both teams 13-0, and it's Maryville's 40th playoff appearance.
Yeah, Maryville, they haven't missed a semifinal in, I think, since before Coach Quarles was there.
This is their 6th consecutive meeting. Oakland winning in 2016 and 18, but I'll take Maryville at home.
And I'll take Oakland. The winner will play either at 13-0 Houston or 12-0 Ravenwood.
All right, we'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and count your blessings and eat plenty of turkey and watch a lot of football. You're watching the Locker Room Chat, and we'll see you next week.